All right. Everyone that was here before, myself, Thomas, Marty, Megan's absent, Barb, Woody, and Jim Coffey. If you want to make any comment during the public comment section, I know we didn't put anything, but I just want to check in first.
You want to say anything?
Do I?
Yeah. You don't have to, I just want to.
No, I was curious, what, Sears is leaving the mall, right?
Yes.
And there was I didn't see the original article, but MSN on the internet had an article about, this trend may continue with other, probably anchor stores nationwide. And it's kind of a disturbing kind of thing to read. I would think Implied Pennies and some of these other larger stores may be in the same situation. And the other thing I was thinking along those lines, in terms of the concept, a lot of people feel the concept of the mall as we've known it is kind of a dinosaur now. And you can, if you have Amazon Prime, you can get about everything but a T-bone steak. I mean, you can get anything other than, fresh produce or foods and so forth. But for $9 a month shipped to your door, I mean, that's what these stores are competing with. And just wonder whether people want to keep that in mind as you plan for the future.
Yeah, I think it's important for people to always know that the town has a limited role in bringing about business forward, but we can certainly be obstructionist if we do not provide opportunity to help them navigate through the zoning ordinances and the planning process, etc. There is a new gentleman that's serving as the manager for the mall. He's about 27, a young guy, a lot of energy. He also has a new individual that's serving the marketing role, and they're really trying to vision something that's not only meeting their national standards, but try to do some homegrown, how do we capture what the North Country is looking for, not just X, Y, and Z. So it will be interesting to see what they end up doing with that space and others. I mean, there's a couple other vacancies in the mall right now.
I was thinking in terms of, you people budget and so forth, the tax revenue, sales tax revenue is going to be trending downward, and just keep that in mind as you budget and plan.
How much is the sales tax revenue down right now? I know the newspaper said, oh, it's trending better, but then I talked to Greg Bell and he said, no, they got a really bad April report.
I don't have it at my fingertips, but I can tell you that part of the rebound was related to the gas prices.
Sure.
So, I mean, you can always spin your numbers one way or the other. A lot of folks believe that our close proximity to Canada, even though the Canadian dollar kind of is going back and forth, is still good for us this summer because they may want to go a little bit beyond just the regular staycation and come down to Plattsburgh and enjoy some of the free hiking, etc. And they'll gas up. They may go to the beach. They may go to restaurants. So we'll see what the impact is.
What about Kmart? Have you heard anything there? Since they're connected to Sears, not a word.
Kmart's staying.
It's staying for now.
We haven't heard officially. So and there were rumors a couple months ago that Sears was on the way out. I mean, I think a lot of people certainly saw the handwriting on the wall. So anything else? Trevor, to give you an opportunity, do you want any public comment here? Okay. Jumping in, I just wanted to note, for your understanding, we are having a mausoleum informational meeting this Wednesday at Town Hall at 6 p.m. The goal of that meeting is to kind of give a general overview of the situation, what's been occurring, with high hopes that we'll get some individuals from the state, hopefully the Division of Cemeteries, to give kind of a general understanding of why they moved forward in the way that they did to quote unquote call it abandoned. So if you have any family there or know of anybody, we strongly encourage you to come out and attend and gain some more information. The next resolution put forth for consideration for next week's meeting is the appointment of Trevor Cole to the position know that I've been having some conversations around town hall that some time ago, Phil was acknowledging that he was looking to retire and starting to, again, build that transition, rather than, when he makes the determination of whenever he retires at the last minute to scramble what's going on there. We're seeing lots of transition in the assessment department, we're seeing transition in the water department, etc. This is part of that process, keeping in consideration that this is transition. It's he would need to receive an increase in pay, but really did shrink that down to $500 overall, not $500 per pay period, but $500 for the overall salary. In addition to that, I did have some conversation with the department about Trevor becoming the department head. I think it's the appropriate time that Trevor start to be out front, making those connections with various developers and folks in the community as we begin to move forward. So put that forward for your consideration as well. We do have the minutes there. Tom, did you want to, I know this isn't directly related to these minutes, but we often talk about department heads and reports. Did you want to talk about anything that the recreation program is doing?
Well, just bring up a couple things that, they've learned a lot of things. They've got the senior trips planned for this year, the sport trips, they're going to be putting that out very shortly. There's a Shape Up Clinton County that's not run by the town, but it's an additional thing that we are participating in with different types of activities up to age 18. And they have an archery program too. We still have our archery program, and ours is full. In fact, for the program for the summer, they said they're 90% full, and some programs already have an excess, and so they're on waiting lists. And the programs that are not, that did not have enough people to field teams for softball, baseball, for Pee Wee up through. There's less that are there, but what they plan on doing is working with surrounding towns, etc., and we're going to combine teams. And in order to better help the whole program and save a little bit in terms of our need to keep up the fields in such a sense, they're planning on using 2 fields for most of the games, and they're going to have one particular thing, whether it's the Pee Wee or whichever, at that one field, so that's where they play all the time. So therefore, they wouldn't have to go out and mark all of the fields. They won't have to line all of the fields in that regard, so it would be a savings there, and our buildings and grounds would be able to get to these others. They have a group, I think it's Rotary, Dan Rotary, pretty sure, but I'm not sure, could be new. You probably know.
They're cultivating a relationship.
Yeah, so
it isn't quite established, but they're cultivating.
But anyway, there's volunteers to go out and work in the Cumberland head fields, but they have to be, they have the buildings and ground has to go through and grind that up first. So if that gets done, then this weekend there's volunteers out there to do that and get that field in shape. The Katyville field was done and they had 17 volunteers out there for cleaning and stuff. They had they did one group went with Aaron, and they did the disc golf course. The other group did the trails and that type of thing. And so they were able to get those quite a bit done. There was there's another person that's been working at the Katyville beach, and they're talking about how they're going to rearrange that there with the bathrooms, etc. Oh, going back to Katyville, instead of getting a porta potty, they're going to lock the inside of the bathroom, but leave it open from the outside. Specifically, right now it's 24 hours. It's an experiment to see how it goes, and hopefully there won't be any vandalism. But that way, all the people that are using the park can use that from 7 in the morning till dark or dusk, 8 or 9 o'clock. Right now, it's open all the time. And it's locked from the inside, so they can't get into the rest of the building, but at least, it can be used, and that would save having to rent porta potty, and that saves that amount of money every month. If this works, then we might consider using it in other parks so that we can have those facilities open more. So that was one of the things that they were talking about there. As far as, let's see, the disc golf tournament that you're having, I was encouraged to get a partner to compete. I guess we have to compete against the other municipalities and the businesses and stuff. Is that what we have to do? Anyway, I told them that I couldn't throw those biscuits, so they better get somebody that's good at it. So anyway, they just had a tournament. They had 39 people participate. 15 were local. The rest of them were from other areas, mostly from Montreal, but there were some from Oswego and other places. So that part, there's a Trailblazer kickoff. It was today with groups of walkers that are going to compete in terms of how many miles they can get, and you get a good group together, however many people you have, see how many miles you can walk. This is going to be over the summer. It can be anywhere, not just in the town of Plattsburgh, but wherever they have trails. They started with Peru Trail, and to make it fair, what they're going to do is just see how many people are in the group, and then they divide the mileage by the number in the group so that it evens out, because different groups will be different size. So I went through the T-ball and what that happened there, summer program requisition, pickleball courts. One of the ideas is for Cliff Haven to change, there's two, and this is the year that we're going to pay, hire to pay that over in terms of getting the, that particular thing, that instead of having two for tennis, we're thinking of changing one to pickleball, and that would be covered by a grant. That would cover this, and this grant would also take care of the one in Checkless Mills to line it and everything like that. So I think those are good things, and I believe that covers just about everything, in a nutshell.
Wasn't a nutshell.
Well, it wasn't in a nutshell. Oh, I looked at it, it is fascinating,
It's a good update.
Any other updates or concerns from the committees? All right. Moving forward, the next resolution in the draft format is the on-call MEO 3 temporary position, which we covered in Jim's letter earlier. So that will be on the docket for next week for consideration, as well as the road striping programs resolution as well. And then as we... Yep.
Make a point on the resolution. It appears to be a typo on the fourth whereas. It makes reference to $120 per hour for newly paved roads.
Yep.
And in the letter that we discussed earlier, that was shown at $121.
Thank you.
So,
Wouldn't you want to take $1 out of the county's pocket?
well, I would, but anyway, what's the roads that we have that are new, that are going to be newly paved? Are newly striped?
If it's $121 would apply to newly paved roads that they do the layout on. I don't know that we necessarily use them to do the layout on newly paved roads. I think it's there if we use it.
Yeah, if we have it, okay.
And then last for consideration, and again, Tom, I know you said you had a couple questions. If you need me to go through it with you, I will. Is the town technology media upgrades for the conference room. And again, this will help us better utilize that space, not only for ourselves, but for folks that are looking to use that conference space for training, etc. So that is all I have.
I have a question.
Yep.
On Route 3, across from the Golden Palace, kind of
Yep.
there's a building that's boarded up. and they're digging in the front of it, and there was a city camel, isn't that town in the town?
I'd have to check to see what the.
Because the town sign is further down. It's-
No,
you-
the town sign, the town line on the opposite side is at
That little strip mall thing.
Yeah.
Sorrel.
Peyton's jewelry and stuff.
Down where there used to be an Indian restaurant, and there's a. one of
It
those-
stops, the line stops really, if the Indian restaurant's here and Texas Roadhouse, there's a small.
Yeah,
road
in there, yeah.
In that general
Right.
vicinity there.
Okay, so Golden Palace is.
the town.
Is in the town, and across the street from that, there's a boarded up building. I think it was
Car dealership.
It was
an auto thing.
Yeah.
And
That's in the
they're
city.
digging an enormous hole.
that's in the
from-
city.
That is in the city?
In the city line
On that side.
On that side,
The city line is further westerly, and it actually is Sorrel by Sorrel Avenue.
okay, so it doesn't just go straight across. You know what I'm talking about?
You're talking right next to McDonald's.
Yes.
For example,
Yeah.
Starbucks is actually in the city.
Right.
Oh, okay, fine,
Yeah.
fine. And so, but Starbucks is in the city, but Payson's is in the town.
If you have a question,
It's where that Sorrel Ave is, that cuts down and
Yeah.
it begins that very awkward.
Because I saw a city camel there, and I went, isn't that the town? But it was on the other side of the street, so
One side of the
from
road is the city, the opposite.
the other side, got it. Okay.
same thing goes on the Town Miller
To
Road.
and way down.
There's a major,
Got it.
Yeah.
there's a major
Houses
difference
Court.
on the Town Miller Road.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You go all the way down to Halsey Court,
On one end,
where,
it's a court.
where what's her name's beauty salon is there.
Funky's hair salon.
Funky, yeah.
is in the city.
Funky's, that's town.
That's town.
Town.
That's town, right? Yeah, that's a convoluted kind of thing there,
The
yeah.
opposite side is
On the other side,
Is the city.
oh, you come all the way up,
Yeah, yep,
the public television station is in the
yep,
city.
yep. So that's why I was wondering if that was in the town, because it was a city camel.
It's where the farms were.
That's it from me. Thank you.